Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and yes, we are back live on a Friday night to go over the game preview of the Week 15 matchup between the Raiders and the Cleveland Browns. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the delay. I'm going to talk a little bit about whether or not this season can be salvaged, and you can take that in a number of ways, to be honest, and we'll get into that. I'll get into my 4 keys to the game, 2 on offense, 2 on defense, as I normally do. I want to welcome you all here to either to the live stream right now or you're watching it on a replay. And the first thing I'm going to do is get right into this, and we'll get right to our Q&A section. So this is how we normally do it. I have what I call my rundown. Now, these are the topics I'm going to be talking about as we go on. And at the end of that, as we normally do, we have a question and answer session where I solicit and talk about the questions you put in the chat. So go ahead, if you have any questions in the chat right now during the live chat, put those in. If you're watching this on a replay, feel free to comment after the fact, and I will answer as many as I possibly can. So first thing I want to go over, as usual, before we get to the poll of the week, first thing, of course, I want to get to is this postponement of the game tomorrow is actually scheduled for tomorrow at 1:30 Pacific. It is now at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, which is 2 p.m. Pacific on Monday, scheduled to go on and likely be completed before the Vikings-Bears Monday Night Football game. So, as usual, we will be going on live at halftime. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but they're also moving a couple other games, the Rams-Seattle game and the Washington-Philly game. These are all due to a rash of positive COVID tests with the Browns, the Rams, and Washington themselves. So my take on this is it's understandable, but where was this last year when the Raiders had 8 guys on defense, or 8 starters that couldn't play due to COVID protocol, and they just played the game anyway? Where was it for Denver last year when they literally didn't have a quarterback 1 week because of COVID protocol? So it would be nice if this was a little bit more organized. It almost kind of gives the feel that they kind of favor certain teams versus others, and the league shouldn't do that. Whether it's they're actually doing that or it's just making it implied. So I think they could do a little bit better job with this. And then you're preparing, and this is kind of a last-minute thing. We knew about the Cleveland Browns tests days ago, so this could have come out a long time ago. Again, this is a couple more days delayed and all this other stuff. So bottom line is we'll get into the rosters and get into the injury reports, but it's going to be a very difficult game to project as far as who's going to be playing and who's not regarding to the COVID protocol. We'll go over that as well. So let's get right to our poll of the week. Now, right after the Chiefs game, I put a poll out the next day, and basically, we're 6-7 now. We've lost 5 of 6. We have 4 regular season games left. I asked you guys, what are we going to do? How many wins are we going to have? 4 wins? Are we going to win all 4, 3, 2, 1, or none? So this is the final results here. And it looks like a lot of you believe we're only going to get 1 win. And actually 2/3 of the vote was either 1 or no wins. That was the second place right here, no wins. And a lot of pessimism. I get it, to be honest with you. Like I said, we've lost 5 of 6. We won the 1 game on Thanksgiving. And to be honest with you, that was an overtime game. We were leading the whole way. We let Dallas back into the game. We could have very well lost that and been down 6 straight. So I can see the pessimism, especially the way not only the way they performed last week, but the attitude. It seems like they kind of packed it in, to be honest with you. Last week against the Chiefs, big divisional rivalry game. If we had any shot at trying to get into a divisional race, that was there. So now we're swept by the Chiefs. We're 6-7. We're going to have to fight like mad to just get a wild card spot at this time. Personally, I'm thinking we're going to be probably between this 1 and 2 win mark. I'm thinking Denver, we should be able to win that game. And maybe the Chargers game. if anything, to play spoiler to them. And the whole controversy going there, Monday Night Football at their place, and all the crap Bosa talked. And if this team has any pride, they're going to want to come out and answer the call, so to speak, with that game. The Colts game, I think that's going to be, obviously, I think that's going to be the most difficult game in the stretch. We're going to be on the road. The Colts are red hot right now. Again, all four of these teams, Browns, Broncos, Colts, and Chargers, are in the playoff hunt, so they have a lot to play for. They're actually above us if you look at the AFC West ranking, or AFC rankings, conference rankings. So I think that's going to be a very difficult game to win. I don't think we're going to win that game. Unless we play like gangbusters these next 2 weeks, it's hard for me to see we're going to pull a win in Indianapolis. Now, the Browns game, I'll go into a little bit details. There's a lot of factors going on, and honestly, I think this could probably go either way, and here's why. Let's get right into the game preview for this one. Now, as usual, we start on the defensive side, but when we do our previews, the first thing we want to do is go over the injury reports themselves. And this is what we have here. And as far as the Raiders go, Trayvon Mullins out, they say, with a toe injury. Honestly, I don't think he was really ready last week. And, you know, the way he performed, I don't think it's going to be that big of a loss, especially when he's not 100%. Perryman's out again. That could be playing huge. I'll get to those during the keys of the game. Waller's still out with that knee injury. And another one we'll look at here is Carl Nassib. He was out. He is now questionable with the knee. So that could be a good thing, could not be a good thing, because, you know, that could take playing time away from Malcolm Kuntz, who's been kind of on a little bit of a hot streak here of late. So I think as far as that goes with the Raiders, overall, not too bad. I think the big one here is Perryman, obviously. We'll get to that in a minute when we get over the keys of the game. The next one is the Cleveland Browns here. As far as their injuries, now we're gonna first talk about the injuries, and then we'll talk about the COVID protocol thing and where we stand with that. As far as the injuries, Kareem Hunt's out. That's good for us because he's a good running back as well. A good 1-2 punch with Nick Chubb. A couple of these other guys, these are backup guys. I'm not big on that. Malik Jackson's a starting defensive tackle, former Denver Bronco, if you remember him. He's questionable, and then a backup tight end. So what? The big thing here I take away is that they're probably their two best offensive linemen, Bitonio and J.C. Treader here on the interior, have been battling a little bit of injuries, but they are planned and scheduled to play, so that's not good for us, obviously. And let's get right to the COVID protocol. Now, depending on the reports, we had anywhere from 15 to 17 players, or 15 to 17 personnel, including their head coach and the running back coach, that have tested positive for COVID. And I'm going to only go over the big names here, and that is Baker Mayfield, obviously, and Jarvis Landry, Malik McDowell, former defensive tackle with Seattle, who's here, who plays next to Jackson, Austin Hooper as well at tight end, and John Johnson, their free safety they got in free agency during the offseason. So first thing I want to talk about, hang on, sorry, I pressed the wrong button there. I appreciate that. So I want to say hello to Israel 2010. I saw you just come into the chat. I'll get to your comments in a minute. Same thing with you, Dominique. But overall, I think that the problem that we're going to face, number one with this, is we don't really know who we're going to face as far as the players, as far as the COVID protocol. Now that they moved it to Tuesday, Baker Mayfield could very well be playing. I have Case Keenum in here, but there were reports that he recently tested positive for COVID as well. So they could be going to Nick Mullins, a guy who used to be playing on the 49ers. It's kind of up in the air. Obviously, it's a problem with us with the quarterback, but I think no matter who they have, if it's Keenan or Mayfield, I think their biggest weapon is obviously this guy here, number 24, Nick Chubb. And we're going to have to stop this guy. I don't know how we're going to do it. Perryman's out. I got Divine Diablo here is at the mic if we play a traditional 4-3. They got good interior line. Their edges are kind of questionable, but these two guys are studs. It's going to be very difficult. But we got to find a way because this is the type of game. And I was thinking, well, Saturday is supposed to be really rainy, but they're saying Monday afternoon, evening is just going to be kind of partly cloudy, so the weather's going to be a little bit better. But this is the type of team that likes to run the ball, and we're the type of defense that can't stop the run, so that's a bad combination for us. I put a goal as under 100 yards holding Nick Chubb. I think it's going to be very difficult. Now you could say, well, he hasn't had 100 yards in 3 games. Well, the last 2 games he played were against the Ravens, and they're number 1 against the run, and we're like number 20. We're number 26 right here. So before that, he had 2 100-yard games. He's averaging 5.5 yards per carry on the season. I think this is going to be a very difficult task, but if we need to win this game, these are the things we've got to do. I'm not so worried about Baker Mayfield or Case Keenum throwing the ball, especially if Jarvis Landry doesn't play, and I don't have him here right now. Donovan Peoples-Jones over here has made some plays. They call him Hollywood Higgins. He can make some play too, but not as deadly as Jarvis Landry, in my opinion. And Njoku could be a problem, but this is the number 1. And then the number 2, I got to see this from our defensive line at some point. I know Yannick has been playing pretty well, but not only with the run, but the pass rush, we need to get that back. And I've got a lofty goal here. Hey, Sandy B, I see you in there. How you doing? I have a lofty goal here, and that is 3 sacks, 10 quarterback hits, and I want to see at least 2 turnovers from this defense. And I'm thinking it's mainly going to be mainly from this line, causing strip sacks, fumbles, things of that nature. We have to be able to control this game. We got to control their running game. We have to control the turnovers. I know the offense gave up 5 turnovers last week, but we got none on the defensive side. They played just as bad as well. So those are my 2 keys to the game on defense. I think if we could do those 2, in and of itself, we'd have a pretty good shot. This could be a very low-scoring game, and we have a pretty good shot at winning this on the road like we did last year in Cleveland. Now, if you are enjoying this, I remind you, give it a thumbs up. Helps the algorithm and all that. And when you subscribe, hit that bell notification. Set it to all. That way, you'll be notified of all of our live streams, including the ones we do here for the previews, the reviews, and also just about every week as often as I possibly can. We go live at halftime, and we're going to be doing that now, and I highlighted it here Monday. It had Saturday, but it is going to be Monday. The game's going to start at about 2 o'clock Pacific, so expect about a 3:30 live stream time. That'll be about halftime. We go about 15 minutes. We go over our keys to the game, how I think the Raiders are doing in the first half, and then get your opinion. What do you guys think the Raiders are doing right? What are they doing wrong? What do they need to do in the second half to win the game? We have a lot of fun. Like I said, we go about 10-15 minutes, and I encourage you all to come out here and join us. So without further ado, let's get right to the Raiders offense. Now, like I've said before, we're going to focus our first key to the game right here on number 4. And to be fair, it's not just number 4. It's Greg Olsen, the offensive coordinator. And I'm going to keep banging this drum because this is the biggest stat I'm seeing consistently where our offense is failing. And this is 3rd down conversions, and it's back to 50%. I want 50% minimum. And I also added here 2 red zone touchdowns. We get in the red zone. We're one of the worst in the red zone as far as scoring touchdowns. We need to improve that. We have Hunter Renfrow here. Get Moreau more involved as well. We need this because this defense is no joke. This defense, especially at the edges, could be the toughest one we faced, if not at least since the Steeler game with TJ Watt. And that gets right into my second key to the game. and that's slowing this guy down. Myles Garrett, he's got 15 sacks on the year, second to TJ Watt with 16. And my goal is limit him to 1.5 or less sacks. 0 sacks would be awesome, but we can't let this guy run wild on us. I know Colton Miller's generally lines up on our left side, so Colton Miller will be on him. But this is going to be a tough matchup, even for Colton Miller, who's a pretty good left tackle. You could argue Myles Garrett is the best edge rusher in the game. He is ranked number 1 right now to PFF. They moved Max Crosby to number 2. And don't forget about this guy over here, Jadeveon Clowney. Now, both of these guys only did walkthroughs this week due to non-COVID related illnesses, and they are scheduled to play. So look for both of these guys here to create havoc. And Brandon Parker, he's still scheduled to be starting here. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if the coaching staff has just given up because they know they're going to be gone this year. And Tom Cable, I don't know what kind of dope you're smoking, but this guy has been an absolute joke. If anything, move Leatherwood to right tackle and let him take his lumps. To be honest with you, he's a rookie. I think he would not do much worse than this guy. If anything, he'd probably do a little bit better, to be honest with you. Put a Luminor in there. He could play guard or tackle. I would say either or there, but Brandon Parker should not even be playing, let alone starting, unless we get a whole pile of injuries on the offensive line during the game. So these are my 4 keys to the game. I'm going to quit talking about this. This Browns defense is no joke. They're no joke against, like I said, they're 11th, but they're still pretty good against the run. The passing, we're going to have to try to stretch the field, but those safeties are pretty good, especially if John Johnson plays. But again, these are 2 guys under the COVID protocol, but they moved it out to Monday, so maybe they'll be cleared by then. Everything's kind of up in the air. We don't really know who exactly on the Browns team is going to play, and I know the Raiders petitioned against the league to move the game, and I guess supposedly they asked for a forfeit. I didn't think that was going to happen, but to me, honestly, they shouldn't have been moving this game, given that they didn't move a game. We had 8 starters last year on defense out on COVID protocol, and we had to play anyway. This is a bunch of bullshit. So these are allowances that they give certain teams, other teams they don't care about. So I'm going to take this right now to you guys. What do you guys think about this game? What do you guys think our chances are of winning this game, even competing against this game? I think the Monday afternoon evening slot is going to be a lot better weather-wise. There's always wind at the Mistake by the Lake, so that could be a factor if we're trying to kick field goals. This is why I kind of push this as far as the red zone touchdowns. We need to start scoring touchdowns anyway. So I'm going to turn this over to you guys. I want to hear what you have to say. I'm going to check in the chat right now, see how you guys are doing. Sandy B says you're spot on. Thank you. Any word on Waller? Sandy B asks. He's still out with the knee injury. Again, they're saying it's the IT. It's this fascia. It's not an actual ligament. Technically, it's on the side of the leg. I talked about that before on the game review when it happened a couple weeks back. He's still out. I'm not sure if he's even going to play the rest of the season. Some people are speculating that he wants out because the Raiders suck, or he wants out because he wants more money. Again, those are speculations. There's been a lot of speculations this week on social media regarding what's going on with the Raiders. I heard something about Deshaun Jackson wanting to quit. I haven't seen that anywhere except from people speculating it. Honestly, it's kind of getting on the verge of clickbait, and it's like, unless you have something substantiated, or one of the uppity ups on Twitter, somebody says it in NFL, some source, then you can substantiate it. But otherwise, you shouldn't be putting stuff out and putting videos out. That's my opinion. That's why I didn't say anything about it. I haven't seen anything on it. So as far as Waller out for the rest of the games, he might be. They're kind of playing it to the hip, or keeping their cards to the chest, so to speak. They're not really saying it's possible. And honestly, if we keep losing, why should he come back? To be honest with you, if he's hurt, why should he come back? Why not rest and heal? And where's Foster Moreau, by the way? He should be out there supporting this team as well. I'm not saying he's good as Waller, but he's better than he's showing. I think there's not a whole lot of continuity between Carr and him, to be honest with you. We saw that in the Miami game where he stopped on his route and it created a pick six. So maybe Carr doesn't trust him. I don't know, but there's enough talent on this team that they should be playing better than they are. I don't think they have, and I said this in the beginning of the season. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, we could go to the Super Bowl. We went 3-1 in the preseason, blah blah blah." And we didn't really start any of our starters. And then we won in overtime against the Ravens week 1 on Monday night. And everybody was like, oh, this is it. We're back. I was kind of pumping the brakes on that. Again, I thought the defense would get to around 20th. I think the incremental, if you watched, like I said, if you watched any of my Gus Bradley video, once we hired him, I made a video on him and I documented where he was since he was either a coordinator or a head coach. I didn't include Tampa because he was like an assistant, so I didn't really want to include that. But where he was a defensive coordinator, the Legion of Boom and all that, and then a head coach when he was with Jacksonville, I kind of documented how each team's defense was when he came there the year before, and how it was and how it improved at the end of his tenure at those locations. So I thought this defense would probably was about 26. I said around 20th. I think we'll get better, but we're not going to get that much better. And a lot of people were saying we'd be a lot better than that. And I was like, I didn't really see it. And right now we're 20th as far as yardage goes. We still have a lot of issues. We could talk about the penalties. I didn't include that on my graphics, but the Raiders are one of the worst, obviously, with penalties, especially on the offensive side. But you know what? The good news is with Cleveland, they're pretty bad on penalties as well. They're pretty undisciplined as well. So that could help us. That could help us as well. It all depends on which team shows up. Is this going to be the Thanksgiving team or is this going to be the team against the Chiefs? It's really difficult to say. And with Perryman out, that's a huge deal. I am so worried about Nick Chubb getting like 140 and 2 touchdowns in this game. We haven't really been able to stop the run for the most part. And if the weather's terrible, number one, the weather's probably not going to be that great. It's going to be windy. You're not going to be able to throw deep, likely. And Cleveland doesn't really throw the ball deep anyway. If you look at their stats, their tight end is usually their highest receiver as far as catches go. Week in and week out, if you look. I know Landry's been out, but still. So they're mostly a short kind of passing game. Try not to screw up and make mistakes, Baker Mayfield, and then run the hell out of the ball. They run the ball a ton, and they can do it because they have the talent to. The interior line's good. The running backs are excellent there, and then they have an above average defense, bordering like a Super Bowl caliber defense. I wouldn't say it's that good, but it's pretty darn good across the board. Not a whole lot of weaknesses, to be honest with you. And then we have our terrible offensive line. I don't know. It depends on which team shows up to this, to be honest with you. So Sandy B says, seems other teams moving their games due to COVID outbreak. Yeah, I talked about that. I think you came in a little bit later. I talked about that in the beginning. The Washington game is being moved, Washington, Philadelphia, due to a number of players on Washington testing positive, and also the Rams-Seahawks game due to a number of Rams players testing positive. Both those games have been moved from Sunday to Tuesday. So, especially if you're playing fantasy football, hold on tight. because it's going to be crazy. I mean, you don't know. Personally, I have some players on my fantasy team. Well, they're on protocol, but are they going to play or not? They don't know yet, and then they move it to Tuesday, and what do you do? Because you know, if you wait till Tuesday and they don't play, and then all the other games have been played, or most of them have been played Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I don't know. I think the NFL, they're kind of inconsistent with this whole COVID thing, to be honest. There's different rules for different stadiums. There's different rules. I haven't heard or seen a hard and fast rule saying if a team gets X amount of positives, then this happens. Then we'll try to postpone the game, or no, they just kind of play kind of fast and loose with it, and it's not really fair. And teams like the Raiders, we have to go on the road, and okay, now what do we do? We got 2 extra days. It just throws the rhythm off. And if you wanted to practice, now you're going to have to find some kind of practice field or something. It's just a mess. And frankly, a lot of, especially with the Cleveland game, a lot of these positives already happened earlier in the week. Like, we were hearing this like on Monday. We were hearing all these. So the NFL could have moved this out to Monday prior to. And then everybody could have been kind of on the same playing field. But no, now they didn't. They waited. We didn't get official word till today on this. It's a bunch of crap. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. Hey, my life, good to see you here. You never got your notification. Is the bell on your subscribe? If you go to my page, you go to where it says subscribe and there's a bell. You make sure that's set to all. Now, I know a lot of people have already set it to all, and they still don't get the notifications. I don't really know what to do about that. YouTube is a little weird about that. Frankly, I question a lot of their policies, to be honest, as far as they're a proponent of helping out the smaller channels, so to speak. But then all their advertisements are for the big million channels plus channels. So, and then if you try to look up, I mean, I've done my research, of course, because I'm trying to, improve and all that. I look up things on mine and, I'm way down on the list. All these corporate ones right at the top. So, they're kind of peeing on our shoes and telling us it's raining as far as the smaller channels go. It's obviously more for the corporate. They said the proof of the pudding's in the eating. And when you do searches, and most of the stuff at the top is ESPN and NFL on Fox and all that, then you know what's going on. So, let's see. C word, best excuse ever. And that's another thing. You get into this whole thing with the testing. How reliable is it? There's been a lot of false positives. A lot of players will test positive and they'll test again negative, so they're okay. And they have rules for that. Like if they've gotten the V, then if they follow up with a negative test afterwards, then no problem. Just a lot of weird stuff with it. I think as far as preparation goes, I think there needs to be a little bit more hard and fast rules as far as the team wise, so they can better prepare for games. Especially the Raiders are going on the road too. So, this helps Cleveland in a number of ways. They're staying at home. They're the ones affected. It's not the Raiders that are affected by this nonsense. They're affected. It depends on who you ask. I've read a number of articles, anywhere from 15 to 17 players and coaches have been tested positive on the Cleveland Browns, including Kevin Stefanski, their head coach, running backs coach, Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry. Those are the big names. There's a few other players, and then some backups, so. Let's see. I've had to keep redoing over and over. Not your fault. It is what it is. My life says if you have it, you probably shadow banned on this one notification wise. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people are talking about using that word because it's in the news because they're moving games because of it. So it's not. I don't. I think it's more bigger channels versus smaller channels. I think once you're big enough, you're good to go. It's getting there. You have to like scratch and crawl every little millimeter to get a crumb. Oh, mighty algorithm, please. It's nonsense. So, Sandy B says you don't scream and yell enough. I don't. I've been told I cuss too much on here, and somebody told me that. I'm not going to say who, but somebody in my real life circle caught. I generally don't promote to people out there. This is more of a niche, and I would rather have like Raider fans and all that. But let's just say somebody within my outside of online circle told me I cussed too much, and then I said, first thing I said was, do you watch other Raider channels? Because they cuss about 10 times more than I do. So, and when I cuss, it's because I'm mad about something specific and performance wise. And like I said, I don't pull punches. If Carr plays like crap, I'm going to let him know. If the coaching is crap, I'm going to let them know. If the ownership is garbage, damn well going to let them know. And that's just the way I am. So if the league is screwing us, I feel that way, I'm going to let them know as well. So, it was in your thumbnail, the naughty C word. Yeah, but it was a graphic. So, I think I've been having issues with the notifications for quite some time, long before I put that word in this thumbnail. So, the test expires 12/31. I don't know about that. I don't want to get too far into the woods on that. I'd rather talk about the Raiders stuff. I'm really only talking about the C stuff because it's directly affecting the Raiders. They're delaying or they're postponing the games. So, from Saturday to Monday. Actually, they were going to do it Sunday, and then later on they said they're not sure. They might flex Saturday or Sunday, and then they decided to do it Saturday. And now with this stuff, it's Monday. Sandy B says, the Bears play Monday night. Yes, right after they played the Vikings. They have cases of it, but not enough to not play. Yeah. Well, that's another thing. I haven't seen anything from the NFL saying if we have X amount of positive cases on a team, we will postpone if we can, or move it 24 hours, or like I said, it's very ambiguous. It's very like I said last year. If you were watching, we had 8 starting players. On the Raiders, on the defensive side, were in the protocol, and they didn't postpone the game. We had to play without them. Oh, screw you! And then Denver, they didn't have a quarterback. They literally didn't have a quarterback. All 3 of their quarterbacks, one was hurt, and the other 2 had the protocol, so they were screwed. They didn't care. They let them play anyway. So it's like, be consistent, league. Don't. It looks like you're playing favorites, but you got to be consistent. Come out with something definitive, and you follow the rule. Oh, sure, you can use it. Your subs won't get notified. They haven't been getting notified before, though. This has been going on for a few months, actually. This was going on at least June, July. I was noticing this, so long before any talk. The only time I talk about the C word is in this case, and I talked about it specifically in another video because Tommy Boy Idiot Davis, the owner of the Raiders, decided to make it a rule that you had to get the V to come to go to the games. So I put a video out specifically on that, and they have a specific app you're supposed to use, and blah blah blah. It's the only time I really talk about it if it directly impacts the Raiders. So, one thing, the big channels get away with it easier, anyways. So if football players didn't have to test, no one would know. Are these guys sick? Well, you could argue that these are like ultra athletes. I haven't really seen an active player like have to be in on a bed and all that. So even if they get it, I mean, what's the chances? I mean, if we wanted to play logic, I mean, so. But as far as the bigger channels, I was watching a channel. Was it today or yesterday in the morning? They do a live stream, and they have a collaboration with a number of guys. It's a sports related channel, not Raiders. One of the guys is one of the guys that did a panty raid on my channel a few weeks back. I'm not gonna name any names, but anyway, all those guys, they were in there, and then they showed full on clips of various like ESPN shows, like for a minute or two. Yeah. Was there any copyright claims? I doubt it. They're too big. This is like the 300 thou club. I have another channel. I used a clip, an instrumental clip, and I got a copyright claim. So because it's a small channel. So yeah, YouTube likes to play certain little games. We know that. So Sadie says, no, you don't cuss that much at all, right, Dominique? I have my moments. When I get pissed off because the Raiders are playing like crap, but generally I try not to. As a rule, I think it kind of shows lack of intelligence as big picture wise. Now, when I do it, it's more emotional because I'm upset about something specific. I'll do that, but generally speaking, I don't just like have every other word. My life says, I just want to know how they're going to test them after 12/31. I don't know. In the NFL, I haven't heard anything about that. That's going to be very interesting because they've extended the regular season. So the regular season goes out till the week after New Year's. So not only could it affect that end where people are trying to jockey for positions into the playoffs, week 18, because we have 17 regular season games and one bye week, but also the playoffs themselves. So this could be a big issue. Again, this is $1 billion company, the NFL. These are things they should be looking ahead to and figuring out what the heck we're going to do to protect our product. What if Tom Brady tests positive? What are they going to do? They're going to keep him out and have the Bucs lose on something like that? You damn well bet they're gonna delay a game 2 weeks if they have to. Roll him out on the gurney. He's the golden boy. There's not gonna be anything there. So let's see. Like the old days, you forfeit. That's what happened in the past. Yeah, actually, the Raiders petitioned that the Browns should have forfeited the game or played it on tomorrow, but they got overruled by the league. I wonder why. Sandy B says, who knows my life? Need to get through some of these games first and foremost. Well, yeah. That's another thing. The NFL's a little different than like the NHL, MLB, because they only have a limited amount of games, right? I mean, MLB has 162 regular season games. NHL and basketball and NBA have 82. So if you cut out 4, 5, 6 games, so what? If you cut out 4, 5, 6 games on an NFL schedule, you're talking about a quarter of the whole season. It's crazy. So if anything, this sports league should be more on top of it than any of the other ones because it's going to impact them even more. Hey, Red Wolf, how you doing? I see you in here. Who wants Mariota to start? LOL, not me. I would have liked it during the Cincinnati game. I talked about that before, just to kind of wake up Carr. Mariota's not the solution. I'm not even saying that. I don't trust him long term. I don't necessarily trust his accuracy, and he's fragile. He's not gonna last a full season. There's no way. But like these little gimmick plays, the RPOs, I love those. They're pretty much unstoppable. Those short yardage plays between him and Jacobs. So I like that. But long term, you need to put some stats down. I had those down during the preview. Yes, you had the stats, Raider Wolf. Looks like pretty even match. Well, here's the thing: you have to look at it this way. You can't look offense versus offense. You have to look at our offense versus their defense, and their offense versus our defense. What do they like to do? And I talked about that. The problem is they like to run the ball a ton, and we suck at stopping the run. That's a problem for us. Other side of the ball, they got two guys. They got one guy that's fighting for the sack title with T.J. Watt. He's got 15 sacks. He's going to be playing. And on the other side, Jadeveon Clowney, not to say he's all world, but he's pretty good, and he's going to look all world against Brandon Parker because we're going to start that idiot again. And then what's going to happen? Carr's going to be on his back again. So that's how you have to look at it. This is not a good matchup for the Raiders. And the way they've been playing, the way the players have shown really a lack of intensity, the way the coaching has been the last few games, this could be another disaster. I don't see the Browns scoring a ton of points on us on offense, like long drives and all that. Again, I'm not sure if Landry's going to play, Baker Mayfield's going to play due to the protocol, but even if they did, I wouldn't be so worried about it. I think we need to take care of business. We need to try to do everything we can to stop Nick Chubb and running. That's priority one. Above all else on the defensive side, I don't care what it is. We have to stop them. We have to stop Nick Chubb. We have to stop 24. He will tear us apart. 5.5 yards per attempt this year. And that includes the last two games where he did crappy against a really good Ravens defense. Number one against the run. So he could kill us just in and of himself. And we need to get this front four going again. Where's the pass rush at? Where's Max Crosby at? What's going on with him? We need to get him going. We need to generate some friggin' turnovers. I'm not excusing the offense last week at all. Putting the ball on the ground 5 times. That's crap. But we're not getting any turnovers on the defensive side either. Both sides were terrible. So, yeah, we don't match up very well against this team. To be honest, it's going to be another one of those things where we need to dictate. We need to have a good game plan and run it, and we need to try to slow these guys down. Maybe more screenplays, more draws, mix it up. Don't be so predictable. And you know what? When we get in the red zone, that was one of my keys. We have to score a touchdown, not field goals. We have to score touchdowns. I think points are going to be hard to come by in this game. I believe the over-under that I saw was 38. That sounds about right. So you're looking at what, 20-18 type of score? That sounds about right for this game. And if we had played tomorrow, it probably would be even less because it'd be raining. It would be, if you looked at the weather report, the rain was supposed to go on till about the first quarter, and then the wind comes in. I just saw wind every hour. I'm like, oh, great. Another one of those games, just like we had last year against this team in Cleveland. So, let's see. Raider Wolf says, were you watching the game last night, Chargers and Chiefs? I caught bits and pieces of it. I wasn't really interested in it, but it looked like both teams were kind of struggling, to be honest with you, especially in the red zone. A lot of missed opportunities. There was one play where Mahomes basically threw it into the ground. He had Hardman wide open for a touchdown. I didn't get that one at all. If the ball slipped out of his hands or what. And then the Chargers went for it on 4th down right before the halftime, trying to punch it in, didn't get it. So yeah, it was kind of an ugly game. And then Casey had the big comeback. So Unfortunately, the Chiefs won. Honestly, the way where we are right now as Raider fans, it's probably better that way because we can't catch them since they swept us. It would be better for the Chargers to lose and try to grab a wild card at this point. So I don't like either team, but looking at us position wise, now if we were like tied with the Chiefs and split, then yeah, we'd want the Chargers to win. But Sandy said, I did. What a game. Exciting. And she also said, screwed up not taking the 3-point kick. That's why they lost. Well, yes and no. You could argue either way. You could say, well, the Chiefs have a high-powered offense, so we need to grab. If we're at the 1-yard line and we can't score, then that's on us. We need to get the touchdowns. We need to be more aggressive. I'd like to see the Raiders do some of that. That was one thing I liked about Gruden. He was a lot more aggressive than this post-Gruden coaching staff has been, to be honest with you. The other way you could say, well, let's get the 3 points and be done with it. But not only that, if you look at the team, the Chargers aren't really built to run the ball short yardage. Eckler's good, but he's like 5'9", 185 pounds or something. He's not a bruiser, so you could argue, well, you just take the 3 points there. So Red Wolf says, yeah, I was telling my buddy that when I saw them going for that. And then Sandy B says, take the easy points on 4th down, really. Again, if you have to worry about Patrick Mahomes and outscoring you, and that's what he did in the 4th quarter, right? And then overtime, I don't know if the Chargers forgot how to tackle there in overtime. I saw the game-winning play by Kelsey, but he shouldn't have got that touchdown. He should have been. There was like 2 or 3 guys missed him, flat out missed the tackle. So it almost looked like the Raiders playing there, to be honest. So, well, if the Raiders were there, there would have been nobody there. He'd have just walked in literally. So at least they were in the vicinity, you know. Not like Gore where he just literally just runs straight. Well, nobody's here. Oh, okay. I'm gonna keep on going. 41-9. 41-9, and they have all the backups in. You know what the Chiefs are going to do, right? They're going to run the ball and try to run the clock out and get out of Dodge with the wind, right? 41-9, and we can't even stop the run then, and the whole world knew they were running the ball. It's pathetic. They had a big injury early on, right? Are you talking about Parnham? I saw that too. It looked like he just kind of fell awkwardly, kind of on his head, and knocked himself out. He had a concussion, and I think he'll be okay though. So that's good. But yeah, he was just laying there. It was kind of scary. So Donald Parnham, that's their backup tight end to Cook. So Raider Wolf says, man, every time I see a video with Rich Bisaccia, I turn it off. I can't stand the guy anymore. Well, there's no real intensity. That's the problem. If you watch, I've been watching these for weeks, and they all sound the same. This is okay. Let me. I'm gonna do my Rich Bisaccia right now. Hang on. All right. Get my clipboard. Hang on. Get my glasses down here. Right, here we go. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we were 3 of 13 third down conversions. Couldn't stop the ball. We put the ball on the ground 5 times. Couldn't get the offense going. Red zone, no problem. Couldn't run the ball. Couldn't really stop them running the ball. Just sad showing, bad showing all around. I'll take your questions right now. That's Rich Bisaccia. Go back. You think I'm joking? That's been like just about every single press conference in the past few weeks. It's basically what he does. He has his little notes saying how sucky we are. No solutions on how to fix anything. Well, I can see stats. I put the stats out. But at least I come up with suggestions and ideas to improve the situation. This is, like I said, this is a head coach. These guys get paid millions of dollars. We can't draft worth of crap. We can't coach worth of crap. The schemes are bad. We have fundamental problems week in and week out, whether it's the right tackle, whether it's covering the running back in the flat. We gave up another touchdown last week to Kansas City on that. Williams got one like that. Literally walked in, like 20 yards. So same old shit every week and no solutions. Well, we just got to. And then Carr, like I said, that really pissed me off with Carr coming out. And they asked him about the pregame going on their logo. Well, I'm going to back up my guys. I don't care no matter what. Yeah, because you're not a friggin' leader. You're a follower. That's what that showed me. You know that's a stupid move. In what world does somebody think that's a smart move? So he endorses it. He's the leader on the offense. Then you've got a captain on the defense who initiated it, Yannick Ngakoue. So you tell me. You tell me the status of this team. we got players that are messed up. We got a coaching staff mumbling, doing this. That's why we might not win another game this year. I think we got a good shot against Denver. And maybe the Chargers at home. Maybe. But the Colts, have you guys seen the Colts? Have you seen Jonathan Taylor? If you have, or if you're not familiar with Jonathan Taylor, he is back and he is. You could say he's an MVP candidate. To be honest with you, if the Golden Boy doesn't get it, he definitely should. He's been gangbusters this year, and again, we can't stop the run. So what's that tell you? That tells me a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. This one could go either way. Cleveland's not that good. They're not very disciplined. Their head coach sucks. Their offense has been sputtering. Does it sound familiar? The difference is their defense is a lot better than ours. They have a lot more talent on their defense as well. This is a kind of game that I would love to see Derek Carr grit out a win. I want him to run in, dive for a touchdown, not fumble the ball. Okay. Dive for a touchdown, come off the field, win by 1 point, some 17-16 nonsense. I don't care. And he's got cuts on his arm and he's dirty. And it's like, yeah, you're the quarterback, carry this team. Don't stand back and say, I'll support my guys. No, you don't support stupidity. You call them out. At best, you say, we found an issue. We're going to handle it in-house. You do something like that. You don't double down on the stupidity. So I don't know what's going to happen this game. I cringe because just on the defensive side, they could really destroy us. They have the tools to make Derek Carr's life absolutely miserable. And their offensive side, if Nick Chubb gets going, it's going to be game over. It's going to be game over. Let's see. Sandy B says, where's the heart? Who's caring about playing? Oh, yeah, you have that down. And I said this all starts with Tommy Boy, Mark Davis, the owner. It does. I mean, and then, like I said, he's come out and said that he's going to make the decision on Derek Carr before he hires a head coach. What? There's a few things you can take on that. Okay, number one, you're not your daddy. You don't know jack shit about football. You shouldn't be making any personnel decisions. Period. Okay, you sign the checks. You get the right people in to make those decisions. You never coached. You weren't a GM. You weren't a commissioner of a league. You are not your father. Stop acting like it. You're not. You don't know what you're doing. Okay. Number two, more importantly, what's that say about Mike Mayock? Why is the owner making the decision? Is Mayock going to be gone? Is that what he's saying? So basically, we're not going to have any significant front office personnel people left. Is that? I mean, because we all know Gruden made all the decisions, and Mayock was kind of his yes man. So I could kind of see that. But I mean, it almost made it sound like that. To me, what he should do is clean house, get a real personnel man in there, and then let that guy, the president of operations, decide who the head coach is, and then let the head coach decide whether or not to keep Derek Carr, if he feels that he can win with him, if he fits with that head coach's scheme. That's how it should be done. But no, we're gonna play the big top circus because we have the head clown at the top. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, so yeah, I'm getting pissed off about it. So, hey Lyncho, how you doing? More of you talking like them. My life. Lyncho says, in the huddle with Lincoln Kennedy was good yesterday. Hey, what's up? I need to catch that. I didn't see that. I heard that he kind of slammed certain members of the offensive line, which needed to be slammed. Probably the same guys I've been slamming literally since the Bears game. If you go back to my Bears video, the review. That was before Gruden got fired. I literally put, like turnstiles, like you go to Disneyland, you go through the turnstiles, I put a picture. I had the offensive line, and then I put 2 turnstiles on the right side, because that's basically what they are. Come on in. Admission is free. Come on in, Clowny. Come on in. Raider Wolf says, did you give your score prediction? I don't give score predictions. This is probably... See, the Raiders are probably one of the most unpredictable teams in the league. They have the talent to beat this team. It's kind of like Cincinnati. We had no business losing that game. You could argue the Giants as well, but I talked about how we always come out flat after a bye on the East Coast. Cincy was no excuse. No excuse. The offense didn't get it done. It is what it is. 15 points, not getting it done. Last week, the whole wheels fell off. Both sides sucked. So, as far as the prediction, maybe like 20-10, 20-13, something like that. It's going to be low scoring. Even there's not going to be storms like there would be tomorrow in Cleveland. But there's, like I said, there's always wind. So it's going to hamper the passing game. It's going to hamper field goals. Punts, all that nonsense. So it's going to be a mess of a game. It could be like 27-3 Browns, to be honest with you, where Nick Chubb gets like 3 touchdowns, 140 yards rushing if we can't stop him. It could get really ugly quick. Like I said, Cleveland's kind of a fundamental type team. They run the ball very well, and they play pretty good defense. So that's where you attack this team. Let's see. Sandy B said, Raider had all the stats and key things to look for. Raider Wolf, yeah. So basically my 4 keys, if we want to go over them again, on the defensive side, we have to stop Nick Chubb. That's probably number 1 of all of these, of any of these. Nick Chubb, and I said we got to keep him to 100 yards or less. I think that's very kind of conservative. I'd like obviously less, but with this team, I don't know. And then the second key was the offensive line. I want to see a couple. I want to see a couple sacks. I want to see. I said 2 sacks, 10 quarterback hits, and 3 sacks, 10 quarterback hits, and 2 turnovers. They have to have that kind of performance. We need to slow the running game down. And then on the offensive side, Derek Carr, we got to get that 3rd down conversion. If I talked about that the week before, I want to see at least 50% 3rd down conversion. And then I also said I want two red zone touchdowns, no field goals. We get close. We got to cash in. And then the other one, I said we have to slow down Myles Garrett. 1.5 sacks or less. Like I said, he could argue he's the best pass rusher in the league. Max is up there. TJ Watt, of course, he's leading the league. He's got one more sack than he does. But those are the keys. And if we do all 4 of those things well, we'll win the game. Now, if we do maybe 2 of them, I don't know. If we don't do any of them, we're going to get blown out. It's going to be another ugly game like Kansas City. Let's see. Hey, Alencho. 12-hour days. Oh, good. I'm glad you could come here. I want to provide some fun. I want to provide you some statistics, what to look for, what I think we need to do to win. If you have anything else to add to that, feel free right now. Like I said, we're in the question and answer portion. If you want to talk about anything else as far as that goes. I also talked about the poll I put out earlier in the week, how many wins we're going to get the rest of the season. From 0 to 4 wins, we have 4 regular season games left. The majority of the people put 1. I would say 1 to 2 right now. Given that, like I said, Denver's very winnable game. The Chargers, just because it's a divisional rivalry, maybe step up at the end. This one's kind of iffy, and the Colts, I don't know about the Colts. We're gonna have to play our asses off to beat the Colts, especially in Indy. They're really difficult in their house. So, all right, let's see. We've been on about an hour now. Let's see if you guys got anything else. Put it down there right now. We'll cover that, and then we'll close this one out, and we'll be back here on Monday. It's going to be about 3:30 in the afternoon Pacific time. The game starts 2 in the afternoon Pacific time, so it'll be on at halftime. So roughly 3:30, I'll set it up that way. And we'll talk about the first half of the game. Watch that game. It's going to be at 2. Yes, game's going to be at 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 Eastern, 4 Central. So about an hour and a half after that'll be halftime. I'll be on. We'll talk about the first half and what I saw, and then I want to hear what you guys saw. If you had anything else, any observations I didn't catch. Let's see. Lecha says, after I watched that Charger-Chiefs game, we're outclassed at quarterback. Well, I mean, yeah, you could. It's. I'll reserve. How do I say this? Is Derek Carr an elite quarterback? I'm going to say no. Is he a good quarterback? I'm going to say yes when the conditions are right. I think there's times where he's had happy feet and gets scared out there, it looks like. And the offensive line is terrible and it doesn't help. I think he's above average. I think if other things were in place and other sections of the team were better, we could contend. But like I said before, if you didn't hear earlier, I would love to see this be Derek Carr's like coming out game, so to speak, where it's going to be ugly and windy and, it's going to be a low scoring, kind of ugly game. But Derek Carr finds a way. He dives in the end zone. I want to see something. If you've ever seen The Longest Yard, the original one with Burt Reynolds, at the end of the game, his jersey is like half torn off, but they ended up winning the game. That's what I want to see. I want to see him like give everything he's got. Almost, I miss Jeff Hostetler. You guys remember Jeff Hostetler back in the day. I'm not saying he was the best quarterback, but you know what? He was one of the toughest SOBs I've ever seen at quarterback. He would take a beating out there and keep on coming. I want to see some of that from Derek Carr. I want to see some heart out there. I want to see him put it out on the line, give everything he has. That's what I want to see. All right. Thanks for Sandy B says, thanks for coming. Set your notifications. Yes. Before we leave, of course, if you did enjoy this, give it a thumbs up, whether you're here live right now or you're watching the replay. I'll have this on replay if you want to check this out. You can check out my 4 keys of the game before the game goes on now Monday afternoon. Give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe and hit that bell notification. Set it to all so you're notified of all of our upcoming live streams. Like I said, we go live just about every game at halftime. We talk about the game for about 10 or 15 minutes. We have a lot of fun with that. And then I will come on probably now maybe Tuesday night. I usually do it on Monday nights to do the review, the full review of the game, and put out my grades for the offense and defense and how we did. Probably do that Tuesday now. We'll do a live stream on that as well. So, Chance Ogden, nice to see you here. You put not what I saw. I'm not sure what you were talking about that, but if you want to elaborate, we can talk about that. We're getting near the end of this live stream. I like to go on for about an hour. I started at 6 o'clock Pacific. It's 7:06 now. So, went over the keys of the game, what I think we need to do to win this game. And bottom line is, I think this is going to be a really tough opponent matchup-wise for us, on both sides of the ball. So we're really going to need to step up, not just from the player-wise, but the coaching and the schemes and the corrections and stopping the run. Like I said, this is number one. Number one. All the things. We got to stop Nick Chubb. If we don't stop Nick Chubb, it's going to be a long day, guys. So, let's see. Anything else? We'll close this one out. Again, I'll be on live at about 3:30 Pacific time on Monday afternoon. We'll talk about the first half of the game and get right back to the game. Again, thank you guys for coming out here. Appreciate you guys coming out here. Talking Raider talk. I mean, I'm still a fan. I want this team to win. We've got a lot of dysfunction right now from the top on down. Hopefully we'll talk about that in the offseason, but right now we're in the midst, the tail end of the regular season. How can we beat the Cleveland Browns? That's what we need to talk about right now. So thank you very much for coming out, guys, and as always, go Raiders.
Ask you something. With all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the years?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.